Hello, everybody. This week we have a really special guest. For the people that has been making bonsai as a self-taught practitioner, people like Jelle Ferwerda is such an incredible point of inspiration and a great teacher for learning this art form. Through his YouTube channel, Growing Bonsai by Jelle, he has been teaching thousands of people on how to grow and thrive with their trees. I'm really excited that we had the time to sit down and speak about our common passion, and I hope that you're gonna enjoy this episode. Here it is. Can you hear me, Jelle?
I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Okay, yes, it's perfect. Okay, we made it. So it's the beauty of the live stream. Many times the problematics has been coming up in the last weeks. Like we had
Technology
the
works
chance.
when it works.
Sorry.
Technology works when it works, and then if it doesn't,
Yeah. It's the way that it is. It's the way that it is. Last week we had the live stream with Laurent Darieux from Cosmic Bonsai.
yep.
We ended up doing it on the computer. We needed to film the screen instead. It was a little bit of a pain.
Well, this is a little bit better than that, fortunately.
Yeah. But as I said before, thank you very much for taking the time to join us today. I've been coming to your profile many times to look for inspiration and tutorials most of the time. I was saying before
I hope I
about
didn't waste too much of your time.
no. As I mean, it's as always like when you're trying to learn a craft, the the sooner you learn how to properly do stuff, the better the results. So I think
So
that you
that's
actually saved me
the
some
two
time.
bonsai as a craft, isn't it an art?
Yeah, it depends. It depends. It's also there's a lot of techniques involved, and for sure for many people it's more of craft than an art. I see it more as an art form,
Yep.
personally. But with all these techniques involved, like all of these the prunings in the right time and carving dead wood or repottings, many times I think it falls nursery work. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. But I was curious about I'm I'm always asking about like the past, what brought people to come into bonsai. But you're one of the few ones that has always been taking the chance to decide to teach to people, to give their his advices to other bonsai people, practitioners. So for the people that doesn't know you, I would like you maybe to tell you a little bit about yourself. How did you started and what brought you to it?
People that don't know me, shame on you. No. What brought me to bonsai? Actually, I started bonsai when I was 10 years old.
Okay.
And at that time, I got one of those little books on how to start bonsai from my parents, and we're talking decades ago, right? And I'm a young kid, and I dig up a few plants from a park, and I put them in a little pot, and I put them on the table, and I water them. And a few weeks later, I go on holidays, and I come back, and they're all dead.
Uh,
So the book got tossed into the corners like that's no good. Then you fast forward 25 years, and I am married. I own a house, and I find myself in a position that in the evenings I'm like, I want to do something with my time. And that's when I actually picked up bonsai again. So to have a hobby around the house, my wife rides a horse. So she's often away for a few hours at a time. But if she comes back, I don't want to be away for hours as well, but you don't see each other. So I wanted a hobby that you can stop. And I like gardening. I'm a biologist by training. And I have now a more or less management job at the university. So I don't do anything of my original training
mhm,
during the day. So that's how I got back into bonsai.
mhm,
And then a few years ago, I decided to take bonsai more serious. And I took the International Bonsai School in Düsseldorf with Danny Bush and Katagiri-san. And spent about 8 years doing this training. And in between, I won the German Bonsai Prize.
mhm,
So for people who don't know, this is a sort of a styling competition where you get the tiny little juniper You get 3 hours, and in front of the audience visiting the German National Bonsai Days, you get to sit on the stage and admire all these trees out and make a little bit of bonsai out of it. Well, I won quite accidentally because I actually just joined a couple of friends who went there and they had all signed up for it. It's like, oh yeah, I'll join. They're like, yeah, but we've been practicing for this for months. So they sat in the car on the way. It's like, how did you just win? It's like, well, I actually did a formal training in bonsai. But with that comes also the obligation to go to the EBA, the European Bonsai Association, and do the competition there. And I realized that if I go there and I do that competition, nobody would know who I am. They might start Googling, who is this guy? So I had a website, but that was just a few articles. And then I decided, well, let's make a few videos. And that was basically in parallel with a couple of friends of mine saying, hey, if you know so much about bonsai, why don't you just start a YouTube channel? So just for the fun of it, over Christmas, I did a short with a video going like, oh, all my trees are frozen. Look, this is bonsai in winter. And that thing hit 1,000 views in a week. I was like, oh, apparently people like this. So that's when I started doing videos as well. And I'm not a very energetic, entertaining kind of person. I'm more serious. So I decided let's do more serious videos about how to do bonsai, but let's try to keep it simple and accessible because there's enough material on people who work on very fancy trees, 10,000 euro worth material and do a styling. Yes, that will look great. But how do you do it when you have a cutting like this? What do you do then? How do you develop those? So that's roughly the story of me. Do you know what my best viewed video is?
The Ticket trunk, I saw. No?
Yeah, there's one that's the long. And there's also a short video which also has almost 1 million views.
Okay.
It's about bonsai is easy. Just cut everything off. Not sure if
Okay.
you've seen that, but that's a little cherry tree.
Uh-huh.
And I actually brought that little cherry tree with me today because people told me you killed that tree. Well, does this look like a killed tree or does this look like start of a nice cherry bonsai? Just thought I'd bring that in as a little joke.
Okay. That's when you're doing the craziest the practices is the ones that are like the more clicked as always. Like we did one with we were doing thread grafting on a trident maple, and we started YouTube like a little while ago. You know, you do shorts of it's mostly for these conversations, and like you get around 1,000, 2,000 if it's going good, but that one went up to 18,000 in a couple of days. So I mean, it's like those ones when the things almost die out are the best. But it's also super good to showcase a tree that is actually coming back, and you get all the flowers and everything.
It's actually the premise, I think, of my bonsai channel is I show a technique and then I wait for a year and I follow the tree along in the process of recovery and how it works a year later. Because many people will show a technique and then they stop. And then the question is always, well, did the tree live?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
In my case, all my videos cover multiple months and many of them cover multiple years. So you can actually see, well, this is how you do it step by step because bonsai is a process. It's not just one afternoon. It is step by step over a longer period of time, right?
Yeah, it's definitely something that resonates a lot with people. Like is like I'm seeing a lot of YouTube because we are self-taught. So with bonsai, we've been doing it for not that long for the bonsai time. You know, like it's just we started in 2020, but so YouTube is a big source of information for all of us. I'm seeing a few of the guys that are doing tutorials and the ones that are like actually taking the time to showcase a work that has been going for like 4 or 5 years. That it's already big, a big amount of work because you're filming and the cataloging of every video. It's a lot, but then it resonates a lot with the people. You see, like maybe is it Bonsai, the Bonsai Zone? I forgot the name of him. Like that he has these videos of his ficus for 30 years.
Nigel?
Sorry?
Nigel in
Yeah,
Canada.
Nigel. Yes, exactly. Is I mean, it's incredible. You can see like really much the love that you put in it, and it's how really is growing. It's helping the trees. And I mean, you see also with Walter Pal what he has been doing with the cataloging of all the pictures and what a job does to the tree. It really helps.
Yeah, and I think that one of the problems that we see in bonsai is people go to a demonstration somewhere and they see work done on the tree, and then you never see the tree again.
Hmm.
But you also don't know how much experience people have that do that. And when they put the work in a tree, that is something that they can judge whether you can do it at that time with that tree and what you need to do to make it recover afterwards. So very often people watch that or they watch a video and then they go into the garden and they do the work and then the tree dies. And I'm like, that can never work.
Hmm.
That's why people I think are surprised when you take a tree well like this cherry and you take everything off. You're like, yeah, no, that doesn't work. Then your tree will die. No, your
Hmm.
tree won't die if you know the species and you know the time of year that you can do this and how healthy your trees. So
Hmm.
yeah, I like this longer term following of processes of trees. Yeah.
Hmm. Yeah. It is awesome. But you said that I mean you started I mean you started doing the videos for helping like because you said you looked at that it was working quite a bit right away. But you how that like for how long have you been doing it?
Bonsai or videos?
The videos.
I think I'm now 4 years or something like that.
Okay. So what is bringing you to continue in pushing forward with it? Is it
Difficult to say. I think it is partially the wish to just show how to do bonsai
Mhm,
because I feel that there's a lot of channels that only show how.
mhm,
Um, Next to that, I like doing things with people. And
mhm,
having a bonsai channel also means that you every once in a while get a message and like, hey, would you like to stop by at the club? Or so it's also for a little bit of self-exposure.
mhm,
I used to have a website where I was posting things on, but just writing and putting pictures on and all those things is difficult. It's
mhm,
a lot of work. And video I find more easy, but by now it's also a little bit cataloging for myself. What am I doing?
mhm,
But it's a little bit of both. And sometimes my ideas shift that I really like videos, and I'm like, okay, my hobby is actually making videos. At some point, I was thinking maybe I should just start a gardening channel.
mhm,
Uh, the one thing that it's not for is the money. I think you'll notice that over maybe 80% of my videos doesn't have advertising on it.
mhm,
I try to keep it accessible, and I just put advertising on so that YouTube decides, oh, I'm going to showcase these videos more. But
uh-huh,
yeah, that's the fortunate situation that I'm in. That's not my primary interest, and that also means that I can take my time for videos to produce
mhm,
them over time. I don't have to produce something. If I say for 2 weeks I don't want to produce a video, I don't produce a video.
mhm, mhm. Yeah, I see. Because I mean, when once you like, I mean, to be prominent with YouTube, what you should do, like, it's more about the quantity, and then you hit the spot, and then you maybe a video flies more than others, and so on.
Well, there is this one YouTube channel. I think they've produced 8 or 9 videos, but they have 1 million followers.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
he does very, very high technical quality videos of trees that he takes from nothing into something show worthy.
Mhm,
Hardly anything spoken. Very, very, very well done technically.
mhm,
So you don't need a lot of content. And I think that's where people who do YouTube might go off, that you decide I need to produce as much as possible.
mhm,
Whereas I think one video that's of very high quality brings you much more than 10 of mediocre quality.
mhm,
And that's also the trap that I sometimes fall into, that I sit with a video, it's like, I want to bring something out this weekend. And then you bring out a video that you're not happy with, and then you see it also, then after a week it just stops being shown, and after 2.5, 3,000 views, it's like flatline, nobody watches it anymore. Where some videos like the big trunks, that's one of the first videos I made. I put a lot of time in. I think I went back into my garden 4 or 5 times to record little things.
mhm,
And now you see that still every single day it gets viewed about 1,000 times. And
mhm.
that's after 3 years. So quality pays off in the end, I think.
Okay, okay. Yeah, no, I agree. I think that I know exactly who you're talking about. It's when we started doing videos. When we started with YouTube, I've been studying it a little bit, and there's the amount of videos doesn't you always reflect the amount of followers or subscribers that you get, and so yes, the quality definitely pays off. Also, I mean, it's there's so much too much to create to make such a video like the ones those ones I technical with crazy cuts all the time. It's I mean it's a lot of work other than just making something nice. I mean, it's also the editing part is much. I guess it depends what you want to do. I mean, if you want to do bonsais and you want to do videos, you happen to do something like that. Otherwise,
Or you run into the problem that you go into your garden to work on your trees, and actually you're not really working on your trees because you're focusing on what do I want to record for my videos. So I
mhm,
have these days that I just consciously take my camera into the office and I'll leave it there, and then I go outside and work on my trees, and I don't do any videos that day and just work on the trees.
mhm,
And then of course 3 weeks later you're editing a video, it's like, oh, I should have recorded that. Oh, I needed that shot. But um, sometimes you notice that you're recording videos and therefore the enjoyment of just doing good work on your trees,
mhm,
it gets lost a little. So that
mhm,
for me is those moments of like, okay, I'm going to take a break for a month. I'm not going to do any videos. I'm just going to work on my trees.
mhm.
So
It's
sometimes you see little gaps in my videos, like, why didn't he cover that part? Well, that was probably in a period of like, I just want to work my trees.
yeah, it's you just enjoy the time the tree for yourself.
Yeah.
That's the priceless moment.
I have a very big pine graft that I need to wire out, and for 2 years it's been sitting and waiting for wiring. It's now grown nicely into the pot that I planted it in, and I'm still wondering, am I going to record this, or maybe I should do a live stream like this? I just put the camera on the tripod and work on the tree.
Mhm,
I don't know. And actually, maybe if there's people watching who say, well, what would you prefer? Just drop a comment or leave something here in the comments. Should I do a live stream? Should I do a recording? Or should I just wire it out and enjoy myself with a glass of wine without any cameras? Just drop a comment in the chat because I think that would be interesting to hear what you think of that.
okay, that's a, that's a good way of trying to discover what the people wants to do. But
Well,
I'm
that's something else to know as well, right? If people comment, then Instagram will think, hey, people like this one, and they're going to spread it more widely and it gets more successful. We all know this.
that's good to have the experts on. I felt like the live stream from Instagram, especially for those longer conversation, it's not the most um, not the best format, I would say. I think it's living really good on platforms on YouTube. I think is living much better. The Instagram platform is a little bit more fast to sit down and have it. So I mean, those little hints help. It's
Well, my concern is mostly with quality when I do live streams. I was at the Koku 10 a few weeks ago, and I wanted to do a few live streams there.
mhm,
And I was getting comments like, "Oh, this is so grainy. Oh, the quality is so poor." Oh, I'm like,
right.
okay, so this live streaming, the quality that you get on the platform is not all that great. And I wasn't sure whether it was my phone or whether it was the system.
Mhm.
But now it seems like the quality comes through okay, and it's probably just the connection that I was having there in the basement of the National Museum. Who knows?
It could have been. How was the Kokofu? Was it the first time?
Interesting. It was the first time to the Kokofu. I'm almost embarrassed to say that I think that the bonsai trophy in Belgium is of the same quality.
Okay.
Of course, in Japan, the Kokofu, the trees, there were trees there that were in the first one 100 years ago as well. So you have trees that are in the bonsai pot for over 100 years in a shell. That's
Mhm,
impressive. You don't get that here in Europe.
mhm,
But the setup, it's quite narrow.
mhm,
So imagine you try to push 10,000 people through corridors that are so narrow that no three people can walk next to each other.
mhm,
So there's one row going in and one row coming out, and you have a little loop that you need to make at the end.
mhm.
It is. intimidating because there's this mass of people just pushing through, and you can't just stand for a couple of minutes in front of a tree because there's a whole row of people behind you that also want to see the tree. So I actually enjoy Belgium more. Really odd to notice that you're standing there in one of the most impressive shows with the biggest trees, the best trees in the world, and you're like, I actually prefer the show that we have in Europe. And so if you say, well, how was it? It was a great experience. Amazing trees. Would I go again? Well, I went this year as part of my holidays with my wife, so we spent 2.5, 3 weeks there. We will fly out to Japan just for the show. I've seen people do it, but no, I don't think I would. I think I would always connect another stay in Japan to it. So yeah, it's going to add and double the cost of the trip, but to me, it's more worth it than just going for the show.
I see. That's a great way to understand, because it's such a huge event for bonsai lovers, of course, but I guess in Japan it's something that moves thousands of people just in Japan. So having a lot of people coming from all over the world, and it's. Do you feel like it could have been managed better in that sense?
I think the venue is not big enough for the show that they put together. So the museum itself is big enough, but they only have part of the museum for this. And then they try to put in hundreds of trees in a very small space. It's not just about the trees, right? If you put, and I don't know what it looks like in your garden, but I have got some 300 trees here in my garden, and they all stand tree to tree to tree. And you walk there, and in summer it's just like a wall of green in different pots. Whereas if you take half of the trees out and each tree stands on their own, they look much better. And I think it's the same with the show. You take a show that has a lot of spacing and a lot of air and a lot of place to move around or stand without obstructing the view of others. You enjoy that more than seeing twice as many trees in a very cramped space. Maybe I'm different than other people, but this was my personal observation. Like, I would have enjoyed it more if there were half the trees in twice the space.
Okay. No, it makes a lot of sense. That thing that you said about the quantity of the trees, you see it in every garden. It looks messy. It's packed. If you have time and space to
it's
it.
like a nursery.
Yeah. Okay.
You come in and you feel like I'm in a nursery. Whereas if you normally do it well, then you just have 50 trees or maybe 100 trees, and they all have their own spot. No, not in my garden. It's like I can fit another one, and you push on one side of the bench, and one falls off. Like, okay, so that one has to leave.
That's awesome. But so, you spent 2.5 weeks. Where have you been? Like you stayed in the area, or you had the chance to travel around?
We did a little bit of traveling. We went to Kyoto. Do you know what's in Kyoto?
Sorry?
Do you know who's in Kyoto?
Who's in Kyoto?
Yeah. Do you know Björn Björnholm? He moved to Kyoto from the States, and he started ISN. So I went to the opening of ISN, and I did an interview with him, and I did a garden tour with him. So if you are not subscribed to my bonsai channel, do that now, because next week those will come out. We went to visit the snow monkeys in the north of Japan. And at the time we also visited Mr. Suzuki-san and his nursery. In Tokyo, we spent a whole week just doing different neighborhoods, parts of which is on media. We spent some time at Mount Fuji. So just a whole tour. And because my wife is not really into bonsai, it was 4 or 5 locations where there's something bonsai. We spent an afternoon, and then 1 or 2 days in that location doing other things.
Okay.
We're slow travelers. We're not trying to see as many sites as possible. We say, okay, we go to Kyoto. We don't know what's there. We have this one thing on the agenda. Let's go see ISN. And then we have 1 or 2 days to just explore Kyoto, and we might just walk for 10 or 15 kilometers and just see what's there.
Yeah.
Means also we don't travel with the guidebook. We just go there, and then in the morning we might open up TripAdvisor or Google Maps or advisory on Travel Japan. It's like what to do in, and you're like, oh yeah, that would be nice. Let's go visit that.
Yeah. That's a good mindset when traveling around. I really like to go and walk and get lost in a place that you don't know. Many times, you end up losing sites that otherwise with a map or like with somebody like driving you around you would see. But that thing of like just having the chance of experience, try to understand how to move around, it feels like a little bit of an adventure.
Yeah, the way we see it is if we focus too much on what we want to see, then you make a schedule for the day and you're planning to be there and then be there and be there. So we go from the metro and we go to metro and then you don't have holidays and you miss the incidentals. Like at a certain point, we felt like having coffee and we probably felt like having coffee because we were smelling coffee. We were walking on the street and it's like, there must be coffee nearby because I think I smell coffee. And before we knew it, we found ourselves at those local coffee what is it, burning places where they make their own coffee from the raw beans. And we sat there and they were burning coffee and we were having a chat with the owners and we were drinking coffee with them. And like, you wouldn't get that if you're on a schedule. We want to see this and this and this today. And another day there was, how do you call it, a little open air market of secondhand goods.
Mm-hmm.
And the hotel owner told us, well, what are you doing today? It's like, well, we don't know. We want to go to the old part of town. So like, well, if you go there, then 1 kilometer down the road, there's this little park. And in the park, there is a little, yeah, what is it, an open air market where people sell their stuffs. And we bought some springs there. It's like, yeah, second hands, nice. But if, as I said, if you're on a schedule, then you're like, no, but today we were going to see this and this shrine. Like, well, then we don't see the shrine, we see something else. It's all new anyway.
Yeah, I see. Awesome. But talking about the trees must have been like something out of the world at Kokofu, right? Like, I mean, seeing a tree that has been showcased in an exhibition for like 100 years, like the maturity.
Some of them were almost as good as my own trees. It's unbelievable. No, those are just trees you just can't. You know, when a tree is in a pot for a long time, it does something to a tree. The bark changes a little bit, the growth habit changes, the leaf gets more, it all gets more delicate, and it looks much older when it is in a pot for 50 years or 100 years. And that is what you feel when you go there. You just see a tree that is old. It's still vibrant, it's still alive. And then just to stand there and think, well, it has been in this pot for 100 years. That means for 100 years, every second day, somebody went there and watered it. Every year, somebody went there and pruned it. And just that idea is like, okay, so there's hundreds of people who have been touching this tree over the years to make it what it is. That's just nice. So yeah, no, very, very nice trees. But also in general, if you go to a nursery here, you often find trees that are imported and that okay. But you go to a nursery there and you just don't know what variety of trees you'll see. It's I've seen Zelkovas trunks like this. And trees that they have been caring for 25 years at the nursery. No, they're not for sale yet. They're not done yet. Okay.
Inspiring.
Yeah.
Did you feel inspired by it, or like
frustrated sometimes? It just humbles you a little bit again. That you think that in 10 years you can make a nice bonsai out of a trunk. Well, actually, maybe not. But it's also helping the perspective on how to do bonsai. I think in the West, we quite often think that we have to do it all, and that buying a tree that is well developed is almost shameful to some people who grow their own bonsai. Certainly for people who have not been doing bonsai all that long, it's like, no, I'm going to buy a little cutting and I'm going to grow that out. You can do that, and in Japan they say, okay, then your great grandson will have nice bonsai. And here we're like, no, we're chucking it in the ground and we're making a few big cuts, and then we have a tree. And to see trees that really were built up meticulously over the years, very slowly growing, taking the time to close the wounds, to make nice gradual taper, and to put in the work and the time, that's sometimes a little bit humbling, because then I sit again here with my nice little cherry tree and I'm like, yeah, there's cuts that will take another 10 years before you don't see them anymore. I mean, it is nice. It is still in a plastic pot, so I don't think it's really ready as a bonsai yet. But this would not stand up to the quality standards that you see there sometimes.
Yes. But did you have the chance to speak with some Japanese about the way about the bonsai in the West?
Um, I speak to Japanese quite frequently about bonsai and how they
Mhm.
see bonsai in the West. Um, of course, in Germany, I was trained by a Japanese gentleman that was flown in 3 times a year for the workshops.
Mhm.
Um, I think they do enjoy it.
Mhm.
And if you ask them, they do see that the top level bonsai that we see here in Europe are also of a very good standing and a good quality.
Mhm.
Then again, there is this cultural thing as well about, well, I'm Dutch. I'm quite direct in what I say, and my opinion is pretty much what comes out of my mouth.
Okay.
In other countries, that might be a little bit more reserved and a little bit more wrapped in, let's try to not hurt someone's feelings. So I'm never sure what they really mean.
Mhm.
But at some point, we also had an American artist in Belgium, Mr. Ryan Neal, and he was doing demonstrations, and I was walking with him around the exhibition as well. And there he also was like, well, in Europe, you're actually getting to the point that the trees are starting to match the technical abilities from Japan.
Mhm.
Your next stage is really on how do you put exhibits together and how do you make the tree and the pot and the table match together, because that's still where we lack a little bit of finesse sometimes. But
Mhm.
for the technical abilities, that's still pretty good.
Mhm. And now we need the decades. And
Yeah.
yeah.
I'm
Yeah.
going to have to press a button here for a second.
Yeah. Of course. How's your gear holding up?
You asked me to make a recording so you could edit a video as well.
Yeah.
And the camera indeed switches off after 20 minutes. It says, no, now I'm done.
Ah, man, that's okay.
So it switches back on.
At least it says.
Well, I just heard it go click. I'm like, that's off.
Okay, 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 okay. That's a good hint. But I saw on your channel that you're traveling around and visiting nurseries and I mean artists. You've been to Stenberger, you've been to Crespi, to name the
Yep.
ones that are close to us. But you said that you've been in Kyoto and you've been with Bjorn. How
Yep.
was it? I've been following his journey through it, and I mean I'm really curious to see. I didn't see the last video that he put in where he was announcing the public opening, but what was your feelings around it? How was it?
I think you'll notice that I think next is it Tuesday or Saturday. I think on Saturday it will come out.
Hmm.
I'll do I have a 30-minute interview with him, and then
Hmm.
have another 30 minutes with him walking around in the garden.
Hmm.
It's just impressive what he's built there, and in such a short amount of time. And he has gone out, and for the last 3 years, he's been purchasing trees already in Japan in preparation of opening up.
Hmm.
So, and he's just the gentlest, friendly guy that you can meet. I mean, I had this feeling like, oh yeah, this is the person I could have been hanging out in a bar with for the last couple of years and been a close friend because he's so approachable, so open and warm. Yeah, it's wonderful. But the place that he built, it's just amazing. It's,
Okay.
I'm not going to say I'm jealous, but I'm a little bit.
Yeah, but I mean, he's doing a different thing, and I mean, he's in the motherland for it. Having like the possibility to get to work with such material.
Yeah, and the interesting thing is for him, he's starting up more or less a bonsai school kind of setting. So he's mostly wanting to live off people coming there for courses or trainings or shows that he
Okay.
does.
Hmm.
And with that, I think he's created a niche where if you would like to go to Japan and learn bonsai,
Hmm.
you need to learn Japanese for most nurseries.
Hmm.
So he's not a competition in that sense with the Japanese nurseries. He's a very different clientele that he's focusing on. And I think that also gives him a very good opportunity to build something really, really great there. Of course, he has his own formal training from Japan and he speaks Japanese fluently. And he has this network. And at the same time, he has this language barrier removed. So he can much easier invite people for a couple of weeks for training with him and
Hmm.
work with him in the streets. He's also set up a little studio at his house that people can actually work there.
Hmm.
Yeah. just a nice garden.
That's an awesome plan. I mean, like for many people, like we've been having the possibility to approach some Japanese artists for the event that we do each year, the Bonsai X, and the language barrier is something that is undeniable.
Yeah.
And
Yeah, it's language and culture, right? It's the concept of when the master speaks, the student is quiet. Whereas in the West, it's mostly when the master speaks, it's an opportunity to ask questions. And that mismatch can cause also difficulties if you go there. So, but yeah, I think he has great idea there.
It is, and also, I mean, I'm, it's difficult to know if the person behind the public figure is actually the same as the what is showcased, but it seems like such a nice guy. So, and you saying the same, so it's probably we wish him luck.
Yeah, and also off camera. When I had the camera switched off and he wasn't aware yet that I was recording, he was still the nice person. It's not
Okay.
just the camera personality.
Okay, that's good. But when did you come here in Italy?
When?
Yeah, because I saw that you were in
Last
our
summer.
area.
Last summer. So what happened last year, I had some medical emergencies and I spent most of my summer laying on my back with my leg up. And once that was all healed, I decided I need a break. And then I discussed with my wife, like I can now walk independently again. I need to get out of here. So I just decided to fly to Napoli
Okay.
and get a car and do some long distance driving and visit some places.
Okay. So you've been from Naples, you come all the way up to. You
Nice
did
little.
all the way up to the north and going back.
Yeah, well, I visited to you and I went to Crespi Bonsai and yeah, just spent a
Yeah.
few days having a nice, decent pizza and enjoying some sunshine. And of course, Mauro is also one of those immense personalities. Have you been to his place?
To Mauro's?
Yeah.
No, not yet. Not yet. We were supposed to meet last December. We were planning on meeting up, but then there was some difficulties. It's close, but it's not that close. It's like still 4 or 5 hours away.
Oh, that's not close. That's fine.
Yeah, we're much close. We're really close to Crespi. It's like 40 minutes on a good day.
Yeah.
So like Mauro is all the way
Yeah,
east.
but Mauro Crespi I did on a day.
Yeah, but it's quite far. No.
Yeah, well, I came from his place and I just drove on and then
Okay.
had a hotel near Crespi.
Okay. Yeah, but
You can
it's
do it. It's a nice drive and it's a good freeway between them.
yeah,
You have to
that's
pay-
true.
I think I was paying taxes though for the freeway. But
Yeah,
the
that's
local rates are definitely a lot slower, I think.
yeah. No, here you pay. Here you gotta pay. It's
Yeah.
there's some parts that are like not so well connected, like between Milan and the western part, close to France. That's super expensive to travel. It's one of the most expensive highways in the world for
I didn't know
kilometers.
that Marble was that close to Venice. That was actually surprising to me. That's only an hour away from Venice.
Mhm. Did you have the chance to go there too?
Not this time.
Okay.
I went there when you were still allowed to visit Venice for free.
Okay. We're going back to the highways. We're really good at letting people
When
pay.
it wasn't overflowing with tourists yet, let's put it that way.
Okay.
So we've still been walking around Venice when it was quiet.
Yeah, but I mean, for the people that is listening and is gonna listen Venice, I would pay $100 to go and see Venice.
Absolutely, it's worth the money. But once you've been there,
Yeah,
it's less worth the money.
yeah. I understand.
And it was really spring. I preferred to go to Mauro's place, have an ice cream in his town, and sit there on the square over forcing myself alone into Venice, masses of people.
Yeah. But
And then you have a little bit of luck to be there on the right day of the week.
Yeah, it is. It is. But I was at Mauro. Like
Uh, I had a nice benefit of knowing Mauro besides this visit. So I knew him beforehand, and I discussed with him that I'd come. I know his wife, so I came there, and it was pretty much like being taken up by family and
okay.
having been talking with him. And I thought, well, after an hour or so, he'll kick me out. But he just took the whole afternoon to sit and chat and walk around, and that was really nice, especially knowing that the next day I think he was flying to Brazil for his. I'm like, oh, at some point you need to tell me that I need to leave. Okay, you need to leave right now. No, but that's at some point you need to leave. No, he's just also one of those genuine nice guys who really, really loves bonsai. So if you are enjoying bonsai, you can walk with him, talk to him about his trees and why he's doing what. And what
Hmm.
surprised me, he's known for pines and junipers and these very, very big trees.
Hmm.
But he also has very nice, delicate deciduous bonsai standing there.
Okay.
Because I was joking, so you don't have any deciduous, right? It's like, come with me. We go to the other side of the property, and all of a sudden there's benches and benches of nice deciduous trees. So yeah, it's interesting. Good visit.
Hmm. Yeah, I'm really looking forward to go to meet him because we approached him for the first time last year, and I mean, like we've been trying to approach everybody in the world, but you know, like the people that we actually have close by, we never actually met or like talked before. So with the build of the new garden, I would really love to find the time to go and go there. But it's super busy. He's always traveling around.
Yeah.
It's difficult to
It's
catch up.
great, right?
Yeah, I mean, but
Nice
it's
lifting wisdom.
but the video I saw a drone video of the property. It's a ton of trees. It's insane.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah,
and in a drone they might seem all very small, but these are all trees that stand the height of a man. So that's
yeah, yeah,
and
yeah.
then we were joking about how to get these trees off, and we were standing next to a pine. It's like, so how many people did it take to get this one off the mountain? It's like, my wife took that one out. Like, yay!
Yeah, they must they must train a lot, like traveling around with those big ones.
I was wondering whether people who don't know Marvel, who've never seen him in person, know how big he is.
As a big fella.
I mean, I'm quite tall,
Uh-huh.
and he stands eye to eye with me, but he also has another 30 pounds of muscle on him. He is a very big, strong guy.
Mm-hmm. But it's the bonsai are keeping him healthy.
Yeah, I think he was in a rugby team in college.
Ah, okay,
I
yeah,
remember
yeah, then
correctly.
I understand now. It's yeah, but I mean, when you're going around and you're moving those trees, you're used to those sizes. I guess it becomes also normal. Then, I mean, if you say there is a big guy, it's I mean, it can stand to the bigger level with the trees.
Yep.
But we were with Andrea in Zokic in Croatia this January. At a certain point, we were like filming a big Carpinus, one of these big Carpinus orientalis, and those ones, I don't know, it was like at least a meter and a half from the rim of the pot to the top of the tree, with this massive pot, and we were moving it in tree. And we were talking. It was like, yeah, this one some years ago I was moving it by myself from this wheelbarrow to the stand, and he said that sometimes he was just calling for help because he was ending up being under it. It's it's
I don't think a single bonsai is worth risking my back for. It's just, no.
but there is tough people down there. I mean, it's you know, they they know how to handle those ones, I guess.
Yeah,
But
I get rid of all the trees that are too heavy for me. I just hand them over to people. It's like, no, it's not worth my time right now.
yeah, no, it's risky. But what are your favorite like sources of material? You're working with you buy material, you go nursery hunting, you start from small.
everything.
Mhm.
It's well, this cherry next to me came from a grower's field, which is about an hour's drive away from me. There is someone who does landscaping for a living, but he
Mhm.
also does bonsai as a hobby. So part of his growing field he has now allocated to bonsai. Is something like 5,000 trees there already in the field for 10 years, pruned
Okay.
every single year. So that's decent material. But I also very much enjoy if I'm at Werner Busch's place in Düsseldorf to go to their field with Yamadori that they imported from Sweden or Spain.
Okay.
At the same time, I'm very much enjoying taking cuttings or growing from seed.
Mhm.
I've got a whole bunch of tridents that I grew from seed over rock now, and they get a root base over a rock that you just can't get from more mature material. So I enjoy all the processes, and I
Mhm.
think that's also why videos that I make might appeal to a wide interest. I don't just do expensive trees or very cheap trees or cuttings.
Mhm.
Um, but for me, the process is the nice thing. And then the material, of course, if you do a demonstration, getting a pine of 100 years old and styling that for the first time is very impressive to the audience.
Mhm.
But I sometimes think it's more impressive to just take a 30-year juniper from a garden center and make a nice bonsai out of that.
Mhm.
Yesterday, I was teaching a workshop in Düsseldorf, and there was somebody who had never done bonsai before. It was his very first workshop, and he
Mhm.
didn't have a tree. And we went out on the field on the store, and we brought this old garden juniper with us
Mhm.
and made quick sketch for him. It's like, this is what you could make out. Can you help me do a few prunings? And I want to take off half of the tree. It's like, oh, you can't take that off. I need all that. Like,
Mhm.
okay. And I let him simmer for half an hour, and I think I came back and thought, oh, I want something there, and I want something there, and I want something there. It's like, look at this sketch. Well, and he started working at the end of the afternoon. We had another hour or so in the workshop, and he had everything wired out. And it's like, will you allow me? It's like, well, yeah. And I started positioning branches, and I draped a piece of cloth over the branch that initially I wanted to cut off. And he's like, oh, is that what you meant?
Mhm.
Give me the scissors. And he clipped off these branches straight away. It's like, this is much better.
Uh-huh.
And that realization that you have something that's really rough and nobody sees anything in it, you just style it into something that's people like, oh, that's a nice design. That is
Mhm.
what I enjoy most. So just a big lump of green. People say you can't make anything out of it. It's like, well, you know what? I'll show you. That's where I enjoy. My final examination tree was a very old pine that had been at Werner's for 2 or 3 years. Nobody had bought it. It was too expensive. But also people said, oh, you can't do with that.
Mhm.
So I made a sketch beforehand, and the examiner passed by, and he's like, "Is that what you're going to do?" That's what I'm going to do. Mhm. After the 2 days, the tree was all finished, and we did the examination final discussion with Mr. Katagi. He's like, "When you brought the tree in, I thought you're never going to be able to make something out of it. Now that I look at this tree, this is exactly what I would have done." And like, that's what I enjoy. And I talked to the owner of the nursery, and I'm like, yeah, we have had so many people looking at that tree, and everybody's like, no, we don't really know what to do with it. You get the tree, and 2 days later, it is a nice start of a bonsai. Incidentally, the next spring, I killed the tree. That's besides the point. But yeah, taking this ugly duckling and making a nice bonsai, that is basically what I like. So that also means that taking the cutting and in 5 or 10 years' time, growing it out into a small little compact bonsai, I enjoy field grown stuff, taking everything off that I don't need and then regrowing, I enjoy, or taking very old Yamadori and then treating that with enough respect, but also courage to then develop that into something interesting.
Mhm.
I just need to learn to be more artistic. It's well, I told you about Ryan Neal. If I look at his stylings, they are so creative. They're so unique. They
Mhm.
don't follow any guideline. They are all different from what we've seen before. That
Mhm.
is really the big challenge that I still see for myself. How do you jump from doing something that people look afterwards like, oh yeah, that's a nice tree to, oh wow, where did that come? Because that's what I often see with some of these big artists that you're like, that's really different.
Mhm.
But yeah, being
Mhm.
different just for the sake of different, it still needs to look good and balanced and work as a tree. But yeah, so
Yeah.
that's bonsai.
It's I agree with this part. I mean, for for the nature of the art form, like we didn't reach the time yet where you have a tree under your hands for like a decade or like 2 decades. So you're in there in the refinement process. So for sure, for us is that initial part where you're like going from like a nursery stock or a Yamadori or like something that is doesn't have any shape, like any decided shape, and you elevate it to where you start bringing it to the bonsai path. That's it's what actually it's what, as you said, like define like the art piece
Yeah.
from just the tree. It's
And that's the thing with any type of material, I find.
yeah. I mean, I'm a big fan of Ryan's work. I've been, I mean, for a person like me that didn't have the chance of like go to Japan or like didn't have the like somebody in my area that I this is gonna sound bad, but that doesn't that I don't admire so much, like artistically. It's like having people like him, where it's like you really like trying to push the narrative and creating something new. It's
You don't have anybody like that in Italy, right?
I mean, in my area. I mean,
Sorry,
no, I'm not
no,
saying
but
it that
you
way.
live in Alba,
Like
still 5 hours away. That's still not in your region. I understand exactly what you mean. It's
exactly.
I sometimes say that I live in a bit of a black hole for bonsai in Germany, which is absolutely not true because I'm a member of a club with people that are really good.
Hmm.
But still, if you look at these single people that you're like, wow, that's really different, there are not all that many of them.
Hmm.
It's
Exactly.
some of
Exactly.
them are, of course, very visible because they're online. But even if you go to local shows and you look at the trees and you're like, oh yeah, they're all okay trees, but are they really good? I don't know. So that's yeah. It's difficult then to find the right people. But you said you're about an hour from Milan, right?
Yeah, we are in the town is called Eupilio. Nobody's gonna probably know unless
Oh, are you in Opinion?
went to school there. No, but it's a small
No, I've
town.
got a
It's in
good friend
between.
of mine that lives there, and he does bonsai, and he doesn't advertise it, but he's one of the best bonsai artists in Italy. You should see.
That would be insane. I would be so surprised.
Yeah, but of
But
course, with Gatsby nearby, you do have access to quite a few good bonsai artists, right?
yeah, I mean, Crespi has been like, because as we said it a few times before, but like the way that we started, it was just before COVID. Davide, that you met before, that is in the production, went to Crespi with a landscaper friend of ours, and he came back with his first azalea. But
Mhm.
the place itself, especially not just I saw the video you showcased the museum, but the whole place is, it's like there's material everywhere, and it's
Mhm.
pretty high quality stuff for some, especially for somebody that never seen anything related
Yeah.
to it. So I mean, it was great inspiration. It was definitely something that let us start. But then moving forward, like we decided to take, is artistically and for the tradition is a staple. I never been to Japan, but I imagine I imagine the quality to be as you see it in the museum. So probably it's a good way of showcase the art form in its classic form. But then being online and being exposed to people like Walter Palto, Andrea Zokic, Ryan Mill, all of these people that is trying to create something that is a little bit more avant-garde, we decided to like take inspiration more from that. Then the techniques and are all the same. But when you're looking for inspiration, we tend to look somewhere else.
Yeah, I'm always of a double mind on this. I tend to gear towards knowing how to do traditional bonsai well,
Hmm.
so that you also understand what works in traditional bonsai, so that if you go creatively, that you also know why would this work.
Hmm.
Um, I sometimes see people who make trees that are different just so that they are different.
Mm-hmm.
And I am wondering whether that is always the best route to go. Um, so I try to do a lot of plastic trees, and then in between I do every once in a while. It's like, oh, I think this might work.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think the video has come up. No, I don't think so. I did a literati the other day in a
Mm-hmm.
demonstration somewhere, and there it really was a very small tree, and it was a fine little literati, but very different from a classical tree. And people also like, oh, you need to cut this off, or you need to cut that off. And 2 years ago, I did sort of a cascade with 3 trees coming up from the cascade. And people, no, you can't do that. And like, what bonsai rule was broken here? It's like nothing, but you never see it like this. Exactly, it is a bonsai. You can't
Mm-hmm.
tell me it's not,
Mm-hmm.
but it's now completely different from what you know,
Mm-hmm.
and therefore you reject it.
Mm-hmm.
So if you look at the basic premise, is it a bonsai? Tapering trunk, yes. Age trunk, yes. Foliage positioned in a more or less random way with a structure. They're not crossing branches. There's not this, there's not that. All of that is there,
Mm-hmm.
yet it doesn't look like anything that you've ever seen. And I think that balance between making something that is different and unique versus making something that's just different.
Mm-hmm.
How,
Yeah.
how do you do that if you don't know the classics of bonsai? But it's
Mm-hmm.
always a personal view, right? And how do you get there?
Yeah. No, but it's. I was listening to Ryan Neal podcast, and or it was maybe a video. It was a while ago. He was talking about how. Then I hope that I'm not saying something that he didn't say, but like he was talking about penjing
Yeah,
and in how many times if it's not done right, it can look a little tacky.
yeah,
So I think that this thing of like, it's nice to do something different, but then if it's different, it still needs to follow everything. It still needs to follow, like being done with good technique, and overall it needs to look good, because
yeah.
otherwise, it's just
Just
something
different.
different, and then it has you give it the weight that it deserves. But I'm what I was trying to say is like just try to do something a little bit more like mm, we really like this approach of like trying to replicate nature, and this like looking at inspiration in what you are surrounded by. And many times like with like most of it like trying to give like to treat every tree as a piece of art, that you really give everything that you can to, like looking at it and studying it and try to like really try to get the best out of it, um, but and without losing the soul. Like we have a lot of trees in the garden, and sometimes like you end up like we try to not do the same twice. We try to to give it a lot of soul. I don't know if it's easy to understand, but um, trying to get inspiration here and there, and just try to make something nice out of it. As I said, like we have 5 years behind. It's nothing. And I mean, I'm not considering myself as a master, or I try to look with an artistic eye to what I do. And I think
Yep.
that we're doing okay, but it's an developing craft. We put everything that we have. We love every tree that we have in the garden as if it's a kid of ours.
The next
So
time I'm
it's
in the area of Milan, I should drop you a line and say, hey, come and pick me up, and I'll come to your garden and have a look.
yeah, you should, like you're always more than welcome. It's a beautiful area, and the garden is we're really lucky to have a really good spot. It's if you've been to Como ever.
Como, Lake Como. I think I passed it. Don't you pass that if you drive from Venice towards Milan?
Uh, if you're arriving in Milan, not you come in the area for sure, but it's a little bit northern than Milan. Como,
Okay.
it's on the border with Switzerland, and being on the border, you know, like if you're going directly to Milan, you just don't see it. But the area is just at the bottom of the Alps, and you have a lot of glacier lakes. So all of the area, like the town that I was raised in, that is like 5 minutes away from the garden that is here, has its own lake, and the garden is facing another lake. And if you go up the mountain, you see other 5 lakes. It's lakes everywhere, and it's a really kind of beautiful area, I would say. I I would be more than happy to chaperone you and who you want to bring around.
And you can see your trees with a bit of character. I think what you just pointed out is actually quite important. If you are doing bonsai, in the end, you also want some sort of an emotional response from people, right? So you're calling it something where a person passes by and looks at the tree and is like, oh, wow. And there, I think this is where this difference between art and craft comes in. If you just learn the techniques and learn how to make a tree, and you follow the rules for the trees, you can make a decent tree. To make that tree that somebody passes by is like, oh, so, oh, hey, that's a nice bonsai. Wow, you do bonsai. I think that's where the whole art part comes from. That's where you say, no, I do like what you do with bonsai, but I want to take it one step further. I want to go and make it have soul, is what you said, I think. And I think that's where the art comes in. I think if you have the time to go visit and spend a day or a few days with Mauro, you know, he does courses and workshops and he has these intensives. That is what you'll get from him. He knows just how to position branches, but also just to take the best out of a tree and say, well, it's that branch that makes the tree different from everything else. If you take that out, it's still bonsai, but the tree doesn't work anymore. It's just a tree. That is what I really like on some of these guys. They just take one thing and they push it 10 centimeters further down. You're like, yeah, that's different. So it doesn't have to be all that extreme and different. You just need to have a few little markers in there.
Yeah, that's what I mean. I'm hearing a lot. I've been talking with Ivo Santos from Portugal, and was talking about his time as an apprentice in Japan. And many times when you're doing bonsai, maybe the thing that I'm finding a little bit more difficult sometimes is like the apex, the arranging of the apex. When you're having this material that is not a bonsai and you're trying to arrange it into an actual bonsai tree. And he was talking about the process. He was there, like thinking about what to do with this apex. And at the end of the day, the master came in, and you know, just a couple fixes here and there, and the tree all of a sudden it starts speaking. And you have a tree that's what a master, somebody that has been like working with trees for many years, can actually allow you to turn like an average piece to something.
It's actually a funny story. Last year, I was at the German National Bonsai Exhibition, and I had a tree on the shelf. But it was also the first time that I was invited as one of the examiners of the trees, of the, how do you call it, through rating all these trees. And the team comes to me like, Jelle, why did you put this tree in? Is it a joke? Are you trying to pull us out? Are you trying to start an argument? I need to redo my camera again.
Yeah, there's no problem.
We are 45 minutes in.
Yeah.
Because what had they seen? They saw I had made this nice shot on Taxis Bacata, but the top looked wrong to me. And it always had looked wrong to me, and I didn't know how to fix it. It was a little upper pad. And they said, well, that pad is just sitting to the right. Why doesn't it cover the whole top of the tree? What do you mean? And the guy just pulled one branch to the side. Like, oh, I can hold the 2 wires in the tree, and I bent 2 branches, and I took a picture. It took me literally 5 minutes, and I sent a picture to the team. Like, yeah, we're still wondering whether this was on purpose that you put this in wrong, or whether you really didn't see it. Like, just didn't see it. You've been working on the tree for decades, and you just have this error in there. You know there is an error, and you're just like, I don't know what it is, but there's something wrong. And then somebody else comes in with a different view, and they're like, But they were really like, "Are you testing us? Why did you put this tree in the show? It has such an obvious flaw." And I'm like, I knew there was a flaw, I just didn't know what it was. I kept on looking at the tree. But you get blind for your own tree, right? You just look at it, it's like, I don't know how to fix it. Yet if it were somebody else's tree and you saw it for the first time, you're like, why is that branch in there? And then they're like, yeah, it's like, I think you can do without that branch. You take the branch out and all of a sudden the tree, it works much better. And it's like, wow, that was genius. Like, now I just look at your tree. And yesterday at this workshop, I was working with somebody, and a few tables back, they were complaining about me.
Mm-hmm.
And they complained, well, I've had this juniper in my garden for over a year. I've been looking at it, I've been turning at it, I've not been able to find a solution. This guy, he comes in, takes the tree from the table, we start discussing the tree, he rotates it twice, it's like, I think this is your front, you remove these branches, you position like this, and then you have a nice tree. And I've been looking 1.5 years and I couldn't find it out, and he does it in 5 minutes. And I think this is just, on the one hand, it's experience, but also on the other hand, it's just you've never seen a tree. You didn't buy it, so you don't have for yourself like, oh, I like that branch there. But in your mind, that branch is critical to that tree, so you'll never cut it out. Somebody else comes in, it's like, oh, the branch disturbs the rest of the tree. You don't see the tree anymore because of that branch. If you take that out, then you see the whole tree. And people should take pictures of their trees. People should ask other people, what do you think? And then don't take it as criticism, but as I'm helping. And this is what you see a lot of online forums where people post their trees and you give them a tip on how they could improve it. Then all of a sudden they feel personally offended that you say something on what could be improved on their tree. You ask for inputs, then don't just expect, oh, this is wonderful. Have you considered removing this or have you considered removing that? But people don't really like that if you do that. That's where my Dutch personality really, really doesn't help me.
That's what I was about to say. But it is especially like when you're designing a tree and you're able to, you know, like just take a step back, like but if you're saying like a decade on and like not understanding the little thing, it's really much like you just you know, it's you just getting married to the idea that you have about the tree, and it really helps to have people around that can
I've actually now invited a friend of mine to one day come over and I'll light the barbecue and make sure there's a few cold ones standing around. But he'll also get a stack of 50 markers that he can put in between my trees to show, well, these trees are not worth your time. You should sell those because they're never going to be one of your top trees.
uh-huh.
Because I just know that in my own collection, I am very much attached to certain trees, which I just know they're never going to be good trees. But if I want to reduce my collection, it's very helpful if somebody else does that. So I actually actively invite people to my garden that I trust and say, well, give me input on my trees. Just walk around. Where do you see errors? Where do you think things that could be improved? And I think that's the making of people that really want to learn. You also see it at workshops. People bring 10 trees in. It's like, yeah, we're only going to discuss this one, but somewhere during the lunch break, could you give me some pointers on those trees? I've been working on it for a long time, but there's something wrong. What do you see? And that's, I think, the best way to learn in a little study group. Know that you have a friend there that you do bonsai with. And you can actually discuss the trees together because you always have your blind spots.
Yeah, for us it's actually it's many times it's a pain. It's a big pain because all the trees like sometimes I sneak out where is Loris, and it's down there like doing a tree by himself. But other than that 95% of all the trees that are in the garden has been made with 4 hands.
Yeah.
And it's you know, it's really difficult because many times like if you give a tree to two different people, they're gonna do, and you need to style it from the bottom up, they're gonna do two different trees. But like having us working together, yes, it helps with that. Like you do something, and even if you do it together, maybe you follow more one person, and then you look back and you give it a couple of days, and you're like, yeah, but that one doesn't seem really right. And actually, it ends up maybe elevating, I hope. But it helps. It
That's
helps.
what we go for, right? Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. But it's challenging. It's I don't know if there's other people that does like that. I mean,
Mhm. But do you know what the number one skill is in bonsai?
mhm.
Have fun.
That's
Not
that's
take everything seriously. It's
yeah. I mean,
like
you were like this thing with the markers that you put. I mean, like the way that I see the collection, like all of them have they're a little capsule of memories. Yeah,
yeah,
like the ones if somebody comes and offer me like I don't know, like there's some trees that are, you know, I'm really attached to it to them, like because oh, this one has been one of the first ones. This is the first Yamadori, and you know, you build this relationship with the trees. So I mean, it's like even if we have a lot of trees in the garden, it's you know, every it doesn't we don't care so much. We don't want to put them in an exhibition like tomorrow or in maybe a couple of years. It's something that is more like a part of the family, you know. So like
yeah.
how many trees do you have in the collection?
One, two, three, many.
Okay. But ideally, what would you look for? Like,
I
if
think valuable for me is somewhere between 75 and 125. Somewhere in that range is a viable collection to properly maintain. Um, I would not be surprised if I'm 100 over that at the moment.
okay, okay,
So last year I was at a certain point almost at 300 trees. I've been
okay.
giving up a lot small stuff. I've been selling some of my trees, so I've reduced considerably.
Hmm.
I brought two trees back in again. But
Hmm.
and what I try to do now is get rid of 5 trees before I buy one tree, so that I really thin out. And then you get rid of the trees with less potential and just keep the ones with more potential.
Hmm.
But it's difficult.
Hmm.
So yeah,
Yeah, yeah,
stick
yeah.
with
But
the sun addiction.
yeah,
Start a new tree. It's fun.
should go and talk to somebody,
Two.
to somebody about this addiction.
I have, but the doctor says I can't be cured.
That's a
My
problem.
wife also confirmed I can't be cured.
Okay, Yele. But I'm I thank you so much for the time that that you dedicated to us today.
My pleasure.
It has been a pleasure. It's really nice to meet the people behind you know, the
I actually
legend.
have to give a shout out because it seems like I have a fan. Bonsai du Grand Paris. Bravo, Jelle, you rock. Bonsai du Grand Paris. Merci.
Thank you so much. I would like you. Do you have anything that you like to say? To something
I
to say?
think that one thing I already mentioned, people have fun and don't take it too serious and practice. Do bonsai. Just do your thing. Listen to people that have been doing it for a long time and say, hey, this might not be a great idea. Don't get offended, but then ask why not?
Hmm.
Why do you think this is not a great idea? And take time for your bonsai. It doesn't have to be done tomorrow. So sometimes it's good to just do a bit of work, let a tree sit around for a year. So that is, I think, my personal philosophy. Take your time with your trees and just enjoy the process. If it is not done next year, then it takes another year.
Hmm.
Still be fun. And don't be too serious. Don't listen too much to people on the internet and just do your thing. Find somebody who likes bonsai, who knows bonsai, whose trees you respect, and say, hey, come and help me out and discuss trees. And of course, come to workshops.
Hmm. That helps.
And I think wherever you are, there's always places to do workshops. And otherwise, yeah, just go to, I think the Bonsai Garage is doing some things online, showing some things on bonsai. There's this Dutch dude, Growing Bonsai, who does things online with videos also. Uh, but yeah, in the end, it is just about growing a tree in the pot.
Hmm.
Let's not make it more complex than that. And then ideally, you take it to a level that it looks nice. And next to that, you take it to a level of people say, hey, that looks nice. And then you come to where you want to be. Oh, wow, that's different. But growing bonsai comes in stages. You first learn the basics, learn to grow a tree in a pot, and then you learn how to style that looking like a tree. then you make it look like an old tree, and then all of a sudden it's like, hey, this is a piece of art. And every stage is valid. Just enjoy it. And plant seeds. Always plant seeds. Big cuttings.
Okay. I think I should do better with that part.
Yeah, but you live in Italy.
Yeah.
It's
So,
too hot for cuttings.
yeah, that's a lot of work to follow.
It's very easy here to take cuttings because it's constantly humid.
Yeah. Thank you again, Jelle. It has been. I'm really happy that we've been able to do this, and
I enjoyed it. I enjoyed it. Wish you a nice evening. Guess what I'm going to do now?
pruning this big ficus behind.
I've got a half-finished pizza sitting in the kitchen that I now need to put the toppings on and then heat the oven and cook my dinner. I didn't finish it before we we started the call, so it's half finished. My wife will be home in half an hour, and then dinner should be ready.
Okay. You wanted to keep it in the in the Italian realm tonight, full on.
Yeah, pizza with a nice simple tomato base and some salami and mozzarella. Nothing fancy.
That's awesome. Keep it simple.
The Italian way of cooking, right? Keep it simple, good quality ingredients, and not overcomplicate things. And I guess that's the same for Monza.
Yeah. Less is more.
That's more.
Thank you,
Enjoy
Jelle. I wish you a good evening. Enjoy the pizza, and see you soon, hopefully. As I said before,
either
hit
here
us
or in
up.
Germany. Either here or there.
Yeah, we will. That would be awesome to come and catch the collection.
Cool. Then I'm going to see whether I can kick myself out so you can continue your show. And I'll talk to you later.
Yeah. Thank you so much, Jelle.
Bye bye.
Wish you a great one. Bye.